Hey, Tourpreneurs, it's Mitch Bach, and just a quick note before we begin today's episode. Tourpreneur is currently sponsored by Google. We're thankful for their support of our community, and we are offering with them a completely free course helping you unlock the power and potential of Google's Things to Do program, which is specifically helping tour operators add their tours to Google in new ways that gives you new exposure and more direct bookings. To learn more, go to tourpreneur.com/Google. And as always, show notes, more resources, links to our newsletter, our business coaching community, and so much more are available on tourpreneur.com. Now to the episode.
Today's episode is brought to you by Checkfront, the booking platform trusted by over 5,000 tour and activity operators around the world. You can start your own free 21-day trial over at checkfront.com.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur Podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, here is your host, Shane Whaley.
Hello, everyone. This is Shane on a special episode of Tourpreneur because I need your help. Quite frankly, we are in uncharted territory. I am just back from a trip to London, one, quite frankly, I wish I hadn't gone on. The whole world seems to have turned upside down. I came home early because there was a ban being brought in on flights into the United States, and I've just literally read that now the EU is also banning foreign flights. And I sit here with Tourpreneur, and I'm like, what can I do to serve you, our listeners? Because I'm reading some pretty tragic emails right now from some of you that are really struggling. There's no money coming in. You're being hit with cancellations. You're going to have to lay off really hard-working staff through no fault of their own. And I'm like, okay, what do you want to hear on the podcast? Part of me even thought, well, should I just suspend the podcast for 4 weeks? Because I'm not sure if you want to hear stories from other tour operators about how they built their business. Because right now, the question for many of us is, can we survive this? And I want to be positive and have a bright, perspective on things in life. But as I say, this is uncharted territory. I have no success formula to share with you. And I'm very suspicious of people out there who profess to have a success formula. We can share advice and best practices, particularly those who suffered at 9/11 or with Katrina or with the volcano cloud that hit. But most of us, that there is no like, oh, this happened, so do this. There's some good housekeeping, and we touched on that with Peter Syme on a previous episode of Tourpreneur. So I want to turn this over to you. I know many of you are anxious, worried, in tears about what may happen. So how can I serve you? Maybe I spoke to one tour operator this morning who said, no, I keep the stories coming. They inspire me. I know we're going to get through this, and just don't mention the virus. And I thank him for that feedback. I don't particularly agree, especially with the virus thing, because right now we all need to be learning from each other and helping each other and sharing our concerns with each other. But maybe I am wrong here, and I've learned this working at OTAs most of my life, is that the data doesn't lie. The opinions in the room are not always right. It's the people coming to the website that are right. So I want you to let me know if you feel that, no, I want to hear more Tourpreneur stories. We can continue with that during this crisis. If you want to share your story, I would be delighted to feature you and highlight your story on the show. But maybe you want to hear stories and experiences that tour operators are going through right now, dealing with this crisis, dealing with this pandemic. What are we all doing? How are we slimming down our operations? How are we dealing with cancellations? Are we doing any marketing? I know there was a debate last week after Arrival's webinar about whether we should still be marketing or not, what free marketing is available for us. That may be something you want us to cover. You may want us, and I'm going to share some ideas with you that I came up with, from our Facebook group and others that I've been reading about. But I really would like you to let me know what you want to hear. How can I serve you? Because I know you right now are in an isolated place. Well, we're all self-isolating, but I mean, our industry is so fragmented. You may not have anyone to reach out to. And I want to be here. I want us to serve as somewhere where you can come and listen to fellow tour operators to hopefully keep your chin up through these dark times. So it could be, for instance, how do I deal with cancellations? Okay. Do you refund 100%? How do you go about asking your customers and guests to actually postpone a trip? Do you have any advice or tips or tactics around that? Should we be marketing right now? Yes or no? Do you want episodes where we do an SEO audit? So you send a website in and I'll get some experts and we'll look at your website and give you a free SEO audit, and we do that on air. We do have an episode coming up, which is the website tune-up. That's a clinic we were looking to bring in monthly. That comes out next week. If you like it, maybe you want more of those, because I think right now, as we're going through this downtime, this is the time when we can look at all those jobs that we just haven't had time to do, right? As we're running our tours, we don't have time to do our own SEO audit or read that book that somebody recommended or write more copy for your website, whatever it may be. So let us know if you think website tune-ups would be a good idea. Pricing, okay, how do we deal with pricing? Should you discount? Also a big discussion. How do you promote gift cards? I know right now, particularly for restaurants that have been closed down, gift cards are going to be huge for future purchasing. But how do you deal with, that financially? Because that's money down the road. You need the money. You got the money now, but you still got to provide that service later on. I'm very fiscally conservative myself, and I hope you all are too, because, we don't want to be putting off trouble for later down the road. The big question is layoffs. How do you look at your costs? What can you cut if it's going to be a lean couple of months? I mean, on the Arrival webinar last week, I think they were saying this could be in for a year. Some people are saying 2 months. This is the challenge for us. None of us know how long this is going to go on for. So how can you start to reduce costs? I've just had to do that myself with the podcast. I've had to, I have a podcast editor that edits all of these. So I'm sorry if this doesn't sound as good as usual, but I've had to say, hey, for now, I need to temporarily suspend working with you until things have improved. I have a show notes writer who does some work for me, etc. I was going to hire a virtual assistant to help me with guest liaison. That's all on the back burner because going through these dark times, I can't afford it. And I say that as someone who, being completely candid with you, I'm living off my savings. I'm trying to create Tourpreneur as a business. I'm living off my savings. My stock market fund has been absolutely pummeled, as is everyone else's. And I'm looking at that going, wow, when I went to London, compared to when I went to London last Sunday to now, it's devastating. And I have to look at my own costs. And I might have to go to work. I might have to stock shelves of toilet paper down the supermarket. I'll do it because I'm not too proud that I wouldn't do it. And we might have to do the same. We might speak to tourpreneurs who are also like, I've got to go and take a part-time job now because I need to have money coming in. I've got mouths to feed. This is something else we can look at. And that's why I want to thank Checkfront, because without Checkfront's support of this show, you heard at the start, they're a sponsor. Without them, who knows, maybe there'd be no Tourpreneur because I wouldn't be able to continue with it. So in terms of laying staff off, sorry, it was a roundabout way of going about that. I, in my career, have had to lay off people, and it is the absolute worst job, especially when you're laying off people who are really hardworking, loyal, passionate, and through no fault of the business, you have to lay them off. if someone was thieving or bad conduct towards guests, that's pretty straightforward, but this is not good. So maybe you want to hear me bring on a HR professional. How do you go about that discussion? What do we need to do to have that conversation? Never mind the legals, but what is your frame of mind when you sit down one of your hard workers and you got to let them go knowing they've got a family? Do you want deep dives on booking platforms? Now is the time. Maybe you think, I've been thinking about changing my booking platform or working with one. Now we have this downtime. I actually have time to do a demo. I have time to read up on it. Let me know. So these are just some ideas that I was thinking about what I might need if I was running my own tour business. Please let me know what you want to hear on the show. This is really important to me that I serve you with what you are going to need over the coming months. Don't hold back. You can email me. If you go to tourpreneur.com, my contact details are there, or tourpreneurshow@gmail.com. Or better still, if you are a Facebooker, come to our Facebook group, which you can find at tourpreneur.com/Facebook. We have almost 1,200 members on there that are all sharing knowledge and resources. I work very, very hard to keep that group full of value, so no spam, promotions, etc. And a lot of people sharing some really, important things on there right now in terms of carrying on through this tough time. So please, for the future of Tourpreneur, I guess, over the next couple of months, please let me know what you want to hear, and I will do my utmost to serve it to you, especially if there's any experts you want to hear on the show or aspects of running the tour business. Please do let me know. This is your show. I know it has my name on the intro, but really think of Tourpreneur as your show. The next 2 episodes I've got coming up, they're pre-recorded. So pre-coronavirus pretty much, because I'd batch recorded 4 episodes because I was going to be 3 weeks in Europe with Arrival and ITB and a personal trip to London. So the next 2, we have one coming up on trademarks, which I know is a question I've had from a lot of you about trademarking your tour company and your tours with an attorney. And then the week after, we have the website tune-up. So if you do hear anything strange, bear in mind these were recorded a month ago. All right. So thank you for tuning in. Please reach out to us if there's anything we can do to help you. Anything you want to share, particularly join the group, join the daily brief. That is so depressing to write at the moment, I'll be honest with you, because there's very little good news out there. But hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll have good news soon. So until next time, thank you for tuning in to Tourpreneur.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur Podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.